Hello, friends. Welcome to today's discussion. And before we get into it, I want us to pray. Our Father out in heaven, we welcome your presence to be with us. Yes, and we pray. Amen. So, for the next 4 days, we're going to look into 4 different topics under our theme, the sinner need for Christ. And so for today, I want us to start with the story of Adam and Eve, to look back into the Garden of Eden before sin. And at that time, Adam and Eve were so happy, and you read other books in history that talks about the life of Adam and Eve before sin, is that they were very happy, and they used to sing praises to God. They used to have discussion with the angels, and they used to share a lot about the history before they were created. They were shared about the history of Satan and how pride came, and he was able to create conflict in heaven, and up to a point where he was thrown out. And then we look at Adam and Eve after the devil had caused them to sin. After he had tempted them up to a point where they took the forbidden fruit. You see, before then, they were very happy, and they used to communicate with angels and with God and have the fellowship together. But now, when they had sinned and God came to visit them, we see Adam and Eve hiding from God. Yeah, and when Adam and Eve were being called by God, they could not come out and show their faces. So now, if we consider the current situation, we as Christians currently, what if Christ comes the second time and take both, let's say, those we call the righteous and the wicked, all of us, to heaven? Imagine how these two group of people will go to live in heaven, the righteous and the wicked. And then, considering the story which we've had before of Adam and Eve, before sin and after sin, you realize that when you are right with God, when you've not fallen short of God's glory, and that means when you've not sinned, you are able to be free with God. You're not afraid of facing God. You want just to have fellowship with God all the time. But when you've sinned, you want to hide from God. You try to find excuses to be away from God. You don't want to associate yourself maybe with things that concern God. You start finding reason of doing evil. Now, like, you're starting to see bad things as good and try to find explanation of the things you're doing. Okay, but picture this: why do we say that God will come and take the righteous to heaven? It's the same reason why Adam and Eve hid themselves when they sinned and they saw God coming to visit them. It means that when the wicked will go to heaven, they will not be able to enjoy themselves in heaven. They will not be comfortable being around them, around God, because they don't see him as good, and they don't find favor in God. Okay, so now, why we say that God will only come and take the righteous in heaven? It's not that God is choosing. It just means that he's doing a favor to the wicked, because they will suffer being in heaven. They will not have any joy being in heaven, and that's why this morning I just want to bring to us the concept of the sinner need for Christ. We need Christ to be able to connect us to heaven. We need Christ's righteousness to cover us, so that we can be able to find even the joy of being around God, the joy of seeing God as our creator, the beauty of God, to be able to enjoy being around God and learning with him and build a relationship with God. So as we will be continuing with our devotion this week, we're going to look into 3 more aspects of how we can be able to unite ourselves with God and be happy with God and be able to appreciate the need of Christ in our lives as sinners. May be blessed.